Good afternoon and welcome to this lesson. I am Leon Pakzad and today I'm going to teach main course of Paddington level. The main focus today will be on Unit 4 of Upper Intermediate level by focusing on future tenses, as you can see on the screen. These days you might spend a lot of time at home because of the current circumstances, but it doesn't mean that you don't have any plan for 5 minutes later, for tomorrow, or even for next week. And today, by focusing on future tenses, by making clear discrimination among all of them, you will fully understand all future tenses and even the differences that there might be among them. Let's start. So, normally there are 5 forms for future tenses in English: simple future, going to, and present continuous. These 3 are familiar for you because most probably in previous levels you have already covered them. And we continue by focusing on 2 more professional ones, which are future perfect and future continuous. Let's start by first one, which is future simple. In future simple, the structure starts by using will, or in negative form, won't. I just kindly remind you that the pronunciation of W in English is we, which is different from V, which is ve. So, will and won't. Normally, when we want to talk about future by using will, we are looking for 4 different categories. And we want to focus on them step by step by some examples. First one is the time that we want to talk about an instant decision, the decision that we made instantly without pre-thought about it. We're sitting at home and all of a sudden we decide to do something. It is instant decision. Look at this example. It says, I will go to the library after the lesson. So it's a kind of a decision that you made without having any plan before that. I will go to the library after the lesson. The other one is an offer. When you want to give an offer, when you want to give an offer to someone to accept it or not, we use will. And the example, we will help you with your homework. Imagine you're packed by a lot of homework to do and you don't know what to do. Then there will be an offer from us that we will help you by your homework. So in this style that I used will, I'm offering something to you. Next one is a prediction. I'm pretty sure that you all know whenever we talk about will, prediction always comes first. And when we talk about prediction, again, the first thing that comes to your mind might be weather. That's why the example that I prepared is somehow related to weather. It won't rain tomorrow. As you can see here in this example, we use the negative form of will, which appears won't. And last usage for will is using the time that we want to talk about a promise. I promise to do something. Then instead of using the word promise in sentence, I can use the structure of will. Tomorrow you have a very important meeting and you are stressed. Then I say, I'll be there for you, don't worry. And again, as you can see here, I use the contraction form of will, which appears apostrophe and double L. Next step, which again might look familiar to you, is using going to. What is the difference of going to and will? Somehow they are similar, but there are some tiny differences. Normally we use going to structure to talk about future when we want to refer to intentions or plans. When we have a plan to do something, when we are intended to do something, we use going to structure. The example, I'm going to look for a new place to live next month. So it means that I have already looked for a house. I just decided to move to that house, and there's a plan behind it. I pack everything, and next month I will go there. So there's a plan behind it, and that's why we used going to in sentence. Next one is about prediction. Most of you might think we had prediction the time that we were talking about future by using will. Yes, of course. Prediction can happen the time that we want to use going to as well, but there's a difference. Normally, prediction that we make by going to is more powerful and more exact, and let's say more probable than will. And that's why the prediction that we make by going to transfers a stronger probability to our audience. The example: it's going to snow again soon. If you remember in first part by will, we had the same sentence about the weather. It will snow. But here we have it's going to snow again soon. Why in this matter we have used going to? Because the explanation says the speaker can probably see dark snow clouds. When I look at the sky and I see a lot of dark clouds, it makes me feel more sure that it definitely will snow. So that's why I take will and I replace it with going to say that that prediction is going to be a very strong one. That's the only difference of prediction with going to in comparing with will. Let's continue with the last one, which is commands, and normally it's equal to an order. It looks like a kind of a talking or dialect that normally parents have. The time that they're talking to their kids, they command kids to do something. And the example somehow represents that context. It says, you're going to pick up all of those toys right now. This room is a mess. So because that's a kind of order or command from a parent to a kid, we used going to. Let's move on. Third category or third circumstance and situation or style that we use for future is using present continuous. The time that you were covering all tenses for present, I'm pretty sure that you have covered present continuous when we want to talk about an action that is happening at the moment, or when we want to talk about a description. But how come present continuous can help us to talk about future, can address us to future? When we have a plan or, more important keyword, an arrangement, we use present continuous. If you remember, we had the plan for be going to, and here we have the word plan again. So definitely the plan that I make by present continuous is much more concise and exact and probable than going to. And next one is an arrangement. These two examples that I brought can totally make it clear for you how different plan and arrangement might be. First sentence says, we're moving to Cambridge in July. So it means that they have decided, even they have made a plan for moving to Cambridge in July. They have booked an apartment, a hotel or even a flight, so they definitely want to move to Cambridge. And second one, I'm meeting Alex at 4 p.m. tomorrow. As you can see at the end of the sentence, we have 4 p.m. tomorrow. So that's something that has been arranged. And when we're talking about an arrangement, it's better to use present continuous to make it more probable. The only difference before jumping to exercise is this point that normally we can make prediction the time that we are using will and going to. But don't forget, we can't use present continuous to make a prediction for future. Tomorrow morning, you have a very important job interview. Now I want to make you optimist and I want to give you energy. I can say, don't worry, you are going to get it, going to. But I can't say, don't worry, you're getting that. I can't make prediction by using present continuous. These three levels and differences of forms that we have in future can be easily overlapped. Just when we use different categories and styles, show us how professional we are and how important is the information that we want to transfer to our audience. Page 39 of your book, exercise 11, has got a lot of exercise for you. Please focus on it, answer the questions, and send it back to us. In Paddington, our team take a look at that, control it, and give you proper feedback on sticks. But as I said, there are two more professional and more concise styles to talk about future, which is future perfect and future continuous. Let's start talking about future perfect. When we use future perfect, we are talking about an event or action or something that definitely it will happen in future and it will finish. I repeat, one event in future will start and will finish. And that's why we use future perfect. The example shows the way for you. By the way, the structure will plus have plus verb ed for regular ones and past participle, of course, for irregular ones. Look at this sample. By the end of this lesson, I will have learned everything about future tense. So you are, hopefully, you are sure that by the end of this lesson, you will cover everything about future tenses. And because you are so sure about it, you use future perfect. Another example. Next month, I will have traveled to the US. You have canceled everything here, you have booked a flight, you have booked a hotel, and definitely next month you will travel to the US. So because it is following a very concise plan, you are so sure about it. And to make me sure as a listener, you use future perfect. But one question, is it possible to use will and going to instead of future perfect? Yes, it is. Then why do we use future perfect? I repeat what I said at the beginning, because you want to make sure that this plan, this example is following a very concise schedule, and you're not going to change it at all. That's why professional ones who follow a very concise schedule in their life, they prefer using future perfect rather than will and going to. The last one is future continuous. Following the first definition that we had for future perfect, as we said, one action in the future starts and finishes. For future continuous, we can say that, again, one action or event in future will start and continue. So it will be in a kind of a progress or temporary circumstance. And the structure is using will plus be and plus verb ing. So it's crystal clear that because of verb ing, one action in future will be in a progress. The example, next week they will be flying to Australia. Again, they have prepared everything and they have booked their flight, they have canceled everything this side, and they will be flying to Australia next week. So because they are so sure about it, instead of using will and going to, they preferred using future continuous to show that that action will start and it will be in a kind of progress. Next one. This time next week, I'll be taking photographs with my new camera. Imagine I'm a photographer, a very professional photographer, and I have ordered the latest version of a camera that exists in the market because I want to expand my career and business. And I'm so sure, because I have already ordered, and there is a response that we will give it to you next week. So I am so sure about it, I repeat. That's why instead of will and let's say going to, I use future continuous. I am so sure that next week I will start taking photos by using my new camera. So, as I have mentioned at the beginning of the lesson, these future tenses can be easily overlapped. Sometimes you can use will instead of going to and vice versa. But if you want to be a professional speaker, if you want to be a professional academic person, you should follow these instructions to look different from a normal speaker. And for these kind of examples, for these kind of structures, normally in the time of exam, there are some symptoms that help you to make a clear discrimination. Is it going to be future perfect? Is it going to be future continuous or not? The first thing that can help you is definitely the meaning of the sentence. And second one, some keywords. It can be a preposition, it can be how far that action might be from your time. We're getting close to the end of the day, and I don't want to keep you waiting for the next lessons that we have. I hope this lesson was useful for you. Just kindly remind you that we have prepared a lot of worksheets for you, and by the team of Paddington teachers. We have prepared it and designed it. So on sticks, we send it to you. Fill in the blanks, take your time, review the PowerPoint. Even I will send the PowerPoint to you. And after finishing the exercise, send it back to us. Definitely you will get a proper feedback. Thank you for watching.